Hello, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me and see me properly. Really quick yes or thumbs up in the chat would be great so that know we're speaking to the live audience. My name is Girgana. We are from the company Great Solutions. We deal with great solutions for internationals. And next slide, please. I would like to introduce myself and my business partner, Richard Ludmore. We are both going to present the topic of health insurance for internationals today. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Hilmi. Great. This is awesome. I assume you guys can see me. Possibly you can see Richard as well. He is dealing with the sharing of the presentation, so maybe his screen is mainly the presentation. So just a couple words about myself. My name is Girgana. I am originally from Bulgaria. I have actually lived, studied, worked in 6 different countries. And so I really have gone through the challenges and the issues that international students and internationals have when they move to a foreign country. So this has been a passion of mine for a really long time, to help internationals in their global move and to find solutions for them. Richard, do you want to say a couple words about yourself?
Yeah, thank you. So hello also from my side. So quite similar. I mean, I was born and raised in Austria, but I also traveled a lot and lived and studied in different countries. So also experienced how it feels like firsthand being in a completely new country and not knowing where to go and what to do and having to find a way around. So it's been our passion to help students who are in this situation to really get the best out of their studies abroad and really having a wonderful time when they come to study in Austria. And yeah, that's what we've been doing now for the last couple of years.
I just wanted to say that we're accustomed to presenting live usually, so I can see the faces of everyone and gauge when there's questions, but please feel free at any time to send us a little question, either in the questions tab or more detailed question in the polls, or just write something in the chat. So we only speak English and German. So if you guys have any questions, please do address them in one of those 2 languages. But yeah, we'll try to keep an eye on the chat as well, so we're not ignoring anyone while we're speaking. Let's go to the next slide.
Yeah, so very briefly our story. So as we already mentioned, we've lived through the experience of going abroad firsthand, and that is really where our motivation is coming from, to help other international students going abroad and moving. To help students, we started some 9 years ago, pretty much, with our first project, which Feels Like Home, which is an information platform. So it's one website where collected all the necessary information that international students need when moving to Austria. So combine all the legal information, the useful information about living in Austria, some tips and tricks of how to get around. That is our online relocation platform that is still available. So you can also access it and find a lot of useful information for your process of coming to Austria. And the other one is Feel Safe, that we will talk more about because it's more of our focus right now as a project, where health insurance for internationals that are coming to Austria. Yeah, so as we shortly mentioned, Feels Like Home, the concept was really to help international students when they move to Austria, because we've seen that it is very hard to find the proper information when you move to a different country. You get some information from the university, there are some official sources, some information you get from your friends or from websites, but we were struggling to find one website where you can find all the information that you really need as an international student. So we created this website that combined all this information on one page, like as we see it here, like language courses, how to open a bank account, how to find housing, get the best telecom solution for yourself, how to handle the whole visa process. So all of that is on the website. And there was one topic that was a constant struggle for international, is the topic of insurance. So out of this, we created then this separate project, Feel Safe, where we wanted to, out of frustration, one have to say, dealing with this topic of insurance, we created our own platform where we helped international students. So what we did is all the insurance providers in Austria and explain to them the market situation, why international students need a solution, how they struggle. And in the end, we partnered up with Unica. Maybe some of you know the company. It's Austria's biggest insurance provider. And together with them and a partner agency, we did a new product and a new website and everything, where we believe this is by far the best solution for international students. In the next slides, we will tell you exactly why, and in like when you need which product, etc. So we'll go into more details.
I think the important thing that we wanted to stress out in giving you a little bit of an introduction about Feels Like Home is that what we've created with Feel Safe and with the platform for health insurances is that everything we did was coming from bottom up. So problems that we saw with international students, with professors, academics, that they were coming to us through the relocation platform, asking questions, having needs, having troubles. So everything that we created came as a challenge to the clients, and therefore we created a solution for it. It wasn't something that we just sat there and thought of, oh, what can we do? And then we just created it. So maybe as you guys go through these, you will find that we touch through the platforms exactly on the challenges and on the solutions that you're experiencing as you're moving to Austria. Hi. One more person joining. Okay. So without getting any further into Feels Like Home, let's talk about Feel Safe and what is the process for health insurance when you're coming to study or as an academic in Austria. Next slide, please. The first important thing that is the most important reason why there was the need to create Feel Safe is it, besides the challenges, it is a requirement from the government, from the Ministry of Inner Affairs in Austria, for every international student that comes to Austria to have a very specific health insurance that fulfills the exact requirements that the government would like. This is important to mention because for many, many, many years, students were coming and we were servicing them with Feels Like Home in person, sitting down with them, talking about insurance. And there was no direct legal framework which said this is the exact insurance that fulfills all the requirements and these are the requirements. Luckily, in 2017, the Inner Ministry came with an official letter that specifically says what the travel insurance and what the long-term insurance need to have as a requirement in order to be approved by the visa department when you are here to get your residence permit or your visa. And they also came out with a list of the few insurances that actually fulfill those requirements. So not every insurance in Austria and not every insurance abroad would fulfill those requirements. There's only a very limited list of insurances that actually are approved, with which you will, once you get the insurance and you go to the visa department or the residence permit department, you will for sure get an approval because they're part of the list. As Richard mentioned, we have talked to all of the companies that provide such products, and we have settled on the largest insurance provider, Unica, as an insurance provider for our products because we created the most customized and best product offering for the internationals. Now, you will most likely get this list from the university with the different insurances. Here on the right side of the slide, you will see a list of insurances that fulfill the requirements from Unica for students. Unfortunately, or fortunately, they give the specific complicated insurance codes to be very formal. So we have handwritten here, basically translated. Obviously, when we put it on a website, we are trying to make this more simple and easy for for all of us. So in FeelSafe, these products correspond to the student basic product or the student plus product or the student academic product. So even though here in the list, you're going to see QEXPYB3 something something, when you go on our website on feelsafe.at, those are the same exact products. We've just given them a little bit more user-friendly names. Next slide, please.
Here we're just showing some references of leading government and student organizations that recommend FeelSafe and promote FeelSafe to their students. So yeah, a lot of the universities went through the process of also trying to find the best solution for their students. And after their research, they concluded that FeelSafe is by far the best solution for international students. So yeah, institutions like the US Embassy, ÖAD, which is the official exchange program of Austria, the University of Vienna, the Wirtschaftsuniversity of Vienna, they also recommend FeelSafe. That is also something important to say because it's different in some other countries. It's not the universities in Austria that define which health insurance you need. It's really the government that gives out those requirements. Because, for instance, in the States, it's done by the universities. So all the universities, of course, also accept FeelSafe. So that's not a question, just to put that out there. Another reference that we shortly wanted to share with that we were very proud of is the Central European University. Maybe you know them. They moved to Austria in 2019. And as part of this process, they announced a call for proposal for health insurances for all of their students, professors, members, and also the family members, which was a very extensive and long process. And at the end of this, they also concluded that FeelSafe is by far the best solution for internationals in Austria. So they choose us to work with, and we are also now their exclusive partner. So there are just many sources that did their research, and all of them conclude that FeelSafe is the best thing that international students can have when they come to Austria.
We're really, really proud and excited to have such a big university have all of their students been taken care of by us. Oh, another thing that
also just
we're
some numbers that we, yeah, that because as we said, like for us, it's all about international experience and connecting people and being excited of having internationals coming to Austria to study here and live here. So we are already working with more than 79 institutions in Austria. We have students as our clients from 102 different countries worldwide. So it's just very exciting to see how international Austria and Vienna is, and that students from all of the world are coming to Austria to study here and becoming our clients. And that is just something that is very exciting for us.
Nice. So to a little bit more of the serious subject matter, some of the topics that we're going to cover in the next portion of the presentation are the legal requirements, the pain points, the market offers that are mainly you can choose between currently on the market here, the product comparisons, and the solutions that FeelSafe offers specifically.
So when internationals come to Austria, this is the, of course, very simplified overview of the different visa types that a student, guest professor, researcher, etc., would need to go through. There are three types of visas for internationals. One is the C visa, which is for people staying shorter than 3 months. There is the D visa for stays shorter than 6 months. And then there's a residence permit, Aufenthaltstitel in German, when you're really staying more than 6 months. So it's really a long-term permit that you're applying for. We're going into more details for this slide and the product that we did, because depending on the different visa type, there are different insurance options that you can choose from and that are relevant and necessary for you. But we will cover those ones in the next slides. Generally speaking, just so that the people listening know if what we are offering is actually something that is relevant for them. So pretty much, as we said, to Austria to study here or to be in the academic field, will need our help. So those are international students, exchange students, guest professors, researchers, scholars, or special status students. So students are still connected with their home university, but on a special status coming to Austria. So all of those people that come to Austria to study here and are connected to an educational institution in Austria will need our help. The pain points, as we said, like we came up with this because we were pretty frustrated with options on the market when working with so many international students, and supported them in this process, because we realized that the processes for international students to get the health insurance are just extremely complicated. There are language barriers. So obviously international students mostly don't speak German. So that was always an issue for them. The products that were on the market were just not ideal for them. They were not made for them. There was nothing that was specifically international students. The service level wasn't sufficient and wasn't as international students would expect. And the processes were extremely slow and bureaucratic. So that was very frustrating for the students. So this is the reason why we decided to do something about it.
So these are kind of the things that we figured out through our project with Feels Like Home, where we did have an office on a daily basis. The students would just walk in and tell us what their issues are. And we just saw these starting out to form as the most common complications and issues. Just the processes were always confusing, and the barriers and everything that Richard just said. These were all things that just developed and clarified through hundreds and hundreds of students coming through our office and us sitting down with them and talking to them and figuring out, okay, these are the problems. What do we do? So a little bit to the main offer currently that you probably will hear first from the universities. Of course, that is the public insurance, which is the GKK, the Gebietskrankenkasse. In Vienna, if you come to Vienna, it would be the WGKK, the Viennese GKK. That is one of the traditional offers that you will for sure hear within the university. It is something that the government offers. So, of course, it's out there as an option. Some of the problems that back in the day before we started to feel safe, students were actually coming to us asking us to help them get through the maze of bureaucracy and the process that is to acquire the public insurance. Of course, one of the issues was the language barrier that we mentioned, which is at the GKK, you need to go there in person and you're meeting someone at the booth. And most of the time, the students went there once, then came back and realized, oh, we need to bring someone with us who speaks German, who can talk to the clerks. Funnily enough, I mean, this is something that the people at the desk don't speak English most of the time, because obviously this is a public insurance that serves the entirety of Austria. So 98% of their clientele, or even more, 99, is German-speaking people. And that's why it's not oriented specifically to people who don't speak German. So they would come to us and ask us, can someone accompany us? So the language was something that was a big barrier. Of course, as I mentioned, you cannot buy it online. It's something that you do have to be present in the country already to be able to go and acquire the health insurance, which also was a struggle for a lot of people applying for visas ahead of time. The waiting times is oftentimes an issue. Unfortunately, as you guys might be familiar yourselves, a lot of times students don't plan too far in ahead. Obviously, you guys are here at the seminar, so you're not one of those students, but you would be surprised how many of your colleagues have an appointment with the visa department the next day and are coming to us being, oh, we didn't know we needed health insurance, or I don't have it yet, what do I do? So the amount of time it took for to be able to go to the GKK and actually get it was an issue, as well as for a lot of professors, the type of public health insurance, there is a 6-month waiting period where they can't use the insurance at all. which is a problem for professors who come for only 6 months or a couple months to teach where they can't even use the insurance. So that was something we wanted to solve as well. Obviously, the support that you get from someone at the desk who doesn't even speak German and really doesn't have a lot of time, because the waiting times to get to the desk are usually a couple of hours. So they're trying to get through people who have their paperwork filled out properly and accurately and just stamp it through. They're not really there to answer your questions in detail and spend a lot of time as a public institution. And last but not least, the product itself. Although, of course, it is an insurance that is absolutely valid and then you can take care of you while you're here in Austria, it is the public insurance, which means there is only access to public doctors, which means that most likely they will be speaking only German, have certain other limitations or specifications and specialties that are not available with only just public doctors that would be with private doctors. So those are the 5 main issues as far as services goes. We're not talking about the product itself, that we really saw as students were coming back from the GKK office with the wrong paperwork and were struggling to get their visa on time because their appointment was the next day or even the next week, but they wouldn't get it, and just being confused. So
and having to sign everything in, like the whole paperwork is in German, the contract, so they wouldn't even understand what they're signing and what they're actually getting.
Yeah, one of the big issues that we had that we felt really bad about was students would come and we would actually sit on our desk with them and go line by line and translate everything, and they would just have to trust us, and then they would have to sign it, and that was something that we didn't feel comfortable with. Anyone coming here for a year or longer, 3 years, and not really knowing, okay, how am I actually covered? I know we're all young, and as a student, you're not really thinking much about, well, what if I get sick or if I get injured? But it does happen, and it's really important to know what to do and where to go and how much you're going to have to pay if that happens. So that was a big challenge that we wanted to solve. So what did we decide to offer in order to conquer these challenges? It was really important for us to offer safety and convenience. Both of those things, number one. So first of all, we created Feel Safe. The entire website, including all the contracts, all the terms and conditions, everything is translated in English, and you can inform yourself absolutely fully about everything. Second of all, very important, you can buy the health insurance already from abroad. You can buy it online in Austria as well, sitting safely at home, as we're all currently forced, so to say, or should do. So in all of these occasions, whether you're not in the country and can't go physically to GKK, or we're living in today's current conditions, you can still fulfill the health insurance requirement by just going on the website and buying it online. We've worked extremely hard to make sure that everything is very modern, fresh, young, and you're having a real user experience where you just have a couple of clicks and you're done. So actually, we're proud to say that within 3 minutes, maybe 5, if you're reading everything in detail, you can go from landing on the page to having your entire application closed. It's important to say that there is no paperwork that you need to upload, so you don't need to be worried about, okay, what do I really need to sit down and have on the desk before I start clicking through this thing? Everything is just questions that you can answer on the spot without having any paperwork, any of your admission letters, or anything like that with you. The next thing that was very important to us was to make Feel Safe super quick, super simple and super quick. And super easy. Like I said, it's funny, but a very large number of students would come to our office and say, please, 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 please help us. How can we do this? I need to have the confirmation tomorrow for my visa or residence permit application appointment. The agency actually here in Vienna is called the MA35. So I have an appointment at the MA35. What do I do? So what we've done in this structure that Richard talked about in the beginning, where we work with Unica and an agency, all of the information that goes into FeelSafe goes directly into the agency, and everything gets processed within 24 hours pretty much. So all of our clients so far have gotten their confirmation letter via email within 1 working day. You can just, you receive it as a PDF in your email. You can just print it, take it with you. Don't forget to take it with you. That's also an important aspect. You need to have it printed out and take it with you to the appointment. And you're done. So you could be sitting late at night being like, oh, I didn't know. Let me go and FeelSafe and just get that done. So these were really important: safety, convenience, speed, super simple, super easy. The next thing is we knew and know that price is a very, very important factor for students that, of course, are living on a budget and still want to come to a foreign country and enjoy all of the skiing resorts or social activities or museums or operas and everything that Austria has to offer. So obviously we want to offer the best possible product for the best possible price. So that is why we actually contacted all of the different insurance providers until we negotiated a price that was lower than the public insurance. So it was really important for us to offer all of these services and solve all of these challenges, but still stay at the same, and actually at this point at a lower price than what the public insurance would offer. We're really excited because all of this comes with what has been as feedback given to us over and over again at an outstanding service. We have so many students that are extremely grateful. You can contact us pretty much anytime through very many different means of contact. We have a live chat. We're on all of the social media platforms. There's a contact button on the website. There's a phone number. We have an office in the first district. So depending on the style that you feel comfortable with informing yourself, you can get the right information for yourself. All of these means connect you directly to the insurance experts from the agency. So if you have very detailed insurance-related questions, they would also be answered fully. Usually other agencies charge for consultations. None of that is the case with FeelSafe. All of the information that you get and all of the contact that you have with us is purely there to help you get the best option for you as quick as possible. All of that is free. And last but not least, we wanted to have a super simple, super quick solution that comes at an amazing price, and we wanted to make sure that the product is the best thing you can get on the market, because a lot of the students, when you're a foreign student, you act slightly different than if you were here as a local. You like to explore the new places, you like to go skiing, you like to go to the lakes. There's all sorts of activities where you're on a speed life experience, so to say. And so we wanted to make sure that the product that internationals get is tailored specifically for them. So some of the things that I will get into later when we're describing the product itself are specifically tailored to the needs of internationals. So we've managed to cover having an amazing product that is tailored to internationals, having the best price possible, and offering a new version of insurances, which is not the scary old school big building. You walking there, you don't know, are you going to be convinced to buy something that you don't need? It's all fully transparent, super simple, all online, all in English, and you get your paperwork done within 1 working day. So that's really everything we wanted to make sure we can offer to solve all the challenges that we saw students facing. Let me know if you guys have any questions at any point. Just type them up. I know we're giving you a lot of info.
I mean, here you will also get quite a lot of info. So you, all of this is pretty much what we said and what Virgana mentioned. We're really comparing ourselves to the public insurance because that is the closest one that comes to the coverage and the range. So as you can see, what was important for us to really have a product that offers additional coverage that we just know from our experience are important to international students. Just some of the things to mention are the private doctors. So with FeelSafe, you get all the doctors of your choice, public and private doctors. We have things included like home transportation in case of a severe accident, because we know if something really severe happens, the one thing you want is to be back with your family at home. So that is also included a transportation back to your home country. Helicopter rescue, as Gergana mentioned, if you go skiing or hiking or something and something happens, you don't want to end up paying for the helicopter rescue, which is super expensive. And some other things that you will see. You see this comparison also on our website. In the end, the message is pretty simple. You get a product then with the public insurance for a better price. There are some specific cases also. This is also going into more detail right now, where it's not actually even possible to get the public insurance, where they would not accept you anymore. Some of those cases are if there is a gap between a bachelor's and a master's degree, if you've been teaching your study programs more than 2 times, if you earn more than 10,000 euros per year, or if you're expected allowed to stay in the student plan and the reduced price student plan of the public insurance anymore. Those are also things that we have, so students would not face such challenge if they are in this specific situations. As Gergana mentioned before, one big topic for universities where they actually addressed us and asked us to work out a solution is for the guest professors. Because it's this weird situation that Gergana mentioned before. There's a waiting time for guest professors until they can really use the insurance of 6 months. We're legally forced to pay for an insurance that they couldn't even use for 6 months, and very often they were only in Austria for 6 months. So in the end, they literally paid for something they couldn't use, so just paid for nothing, which is of course very frustrating. So also we don't have any waiting times in our products. When the guest professors, for example, here get our product, they are immediately fully insured and covered. Also very important to mention it here, our health insurance is also accepted for the prolongation of the residence permit. So not just for the first time students apply, but for as long as they are staying in Austria as students. So we're really covering the full time of the students, and it's not breaking at some point as it is with other products. Yeah, all of that is really to assure that students are not missing any deadlines, as we mentioned before. Unfortunately, we've seen this before in our years of working with students, where those are frustrating situations. If students miss visa deadlines, they have to leave the country, re-enter. Sometimes they have to drop a semester. They're losing a lot of time and money. So that's the speed of processing, and to make sure that students know that they have to keep their deadlines and they don't miss out on anything. Coming back to the very specifics of the visa needs. So as we said before, there are 3 different types of visas that internationals would apply for: the C visa, the D visa, and the residence permit. And hand in hand with that, we have different products on our page that meet those legal requirements. The first one is the C visa, second one D visa, and the residence permit. So for the C visa solution, there is a very simple solution, which is a travel insurance, which means it's a per day insurance. So you really select your very specific start date where you want it to start. You select the end date, and then you pay for the specific days that you need the insurance. It's currently €2.40 per day. The payment is done via credit card, so that's also very simple. Of time, so you select the days and pay that amount, and it covers you for emergencies and accidents. It's a rather basic insurance, but it is what you would need in order to stay in Austria for the short amount of time. And there is no cancellation that you need to do actively. It just expires on the end date that you selected. So it's a very simple product, but works wonderfully for this short amount of time. The D visa, there are 2 options which students can choose from. It's pretty much convenience versus coverage, as we're calling it, because the travel insurance that we mentioned before, the benefit of being simple and straightforward with the credit card. However, it has a very basic coverage. It to a maximum of 6 months. So that is the limit for a travel insurance, 6 months. On the other side, we have our student health insurances. So the full health mentioned before with the really extensive coverage. That is a little more complicated in the process because you need to have a European bank account. However, for any student staying for more than 3 months, we anyways recommend to open a bank account. The good thing in Austria, bank accounts are free for students, and you will just need it on an everyday base for certain and for convenience. So it's anyways something that we recommend. And then the money for this long-term health insurance is automatically from that bank account on a monthly basis. As we said, it's this all risk, as it is called, health insurance, so it really covers you for everything that you would need for your time in Austria. Then when you're leaving, however, you have to actively cancel it. It just doesn't stop at some point. You need to cancel it. However, that's also pretty simple on our website. We have a form on the website you need to fill and where you can cancel it again. So just from our experience, we've seen it. Some people just prefer to have the convenience of the travel insurance. Some people prefer to have more coverage, so they go to the long-term health insurance. We personally recommend the long-term health insurance. It just gives more coverage, and it's not that much more complicated. But again, it's up for students to decide how they want to handle this type of visa.
Absolutely. I think one of the, if you can, yeah, I will describe it here. One of the important things that also starts playing into effect a little bit more when it comes to the residence permit. So for people who are staying for longer than 6 months is the question, are you coming from a country where you're required to have an initial residence permit application already in your home country? You can also come from a country where you're not required to do that, but you feel like you have more time and it's more comfortable for you to already start this process while you are in your home country. So when it comes to residence permit solutions, there are two options. Either you're already applying for your residence permit in your home country, or you're taking care of it already when you enter Austria if you come from a country where there are no restrictions for you for a certain amount of time to enter without a residence permit. So the one important difference here that Feel Safe offers and no other health insurance actually offers, because we've been asked so much to save students from being in this closed cycle, is the people who are actually required to have a health insurance for their residence permit, and with that have an initial residence permit application in your home country. Now, when you're applying and submitting this initial application, if you, Richard, would use your mouse to show there, what it states in that document we showed in the beginning from the Inner Ministry, they require you, quote unquote, to show your intent of purchase of long-term insurance as part of your application. So you can have a short-term travel insurance in order to enter the country. However, already with that application, they require you to show that you have the intent to have the long-term, the all-risk insurance. Now, that's a problem before Feel Safe, because if you had to come to the country and actually physically go to the GKK, the public insurance, in order to get the health insurance, then you can't possibly have that proof of health insurance when you're applying already in your home country, because you physically can't just be in two places at the same time. So we've managed to create a solution for this where, as we said, the travel insurance, we have the travel insurance basic, which is absolutely sufficient for both the C and the D visa for shorter stays. However, we have also created travel insurance plus, where you would buy the travel insurance plus for a certain amount of time that you think you need to handle your paperwork once you enter the country. Usually we say 2 weeks to 2 months, depending on how quick you think you can be. You can purchase that travel insurance plus already in your home country. With that insurance, we already ask you all of the questions and all of the health questions that you would be otherwise asked to verify and fulfill for the all-risk long-term health insurance. So with that travel insurance plus, not only are you getting the travel insurance, but you're also getting a confirmation letter with your intent and your proof that you are eligible for long-term insurance with Feel Safe. So with both of those documents, you can apply for your initial residence permit in your home country. Then, as you see, if you follow the little circles, you buy the travel insurance plus, then you come to Austria, then you open the European bank account that Richard was talking about in the previous slide, which usually, this is why we say we recommend 2 weeks. It usually takes 1 week to open this bank account as a student. It's free, but you still in Austria need to go physically to the bank in order to open an account. Other countries like Germany and other, I guess, a little bit more further ahead in the modernization of the banking and insurance sector do allow accounts to be opened online. However, Austria doesn't have that fully yet. You still at the very end still need to show up and sign and show your face. So with the travel insurance plus, you would have that. You would have your other confirmation. You would enter the country. You would get your bank account within 1 to 2 weeks. And then you can hop back on to feelsafe.it and within 5 minutes, purchase the long-term health insurance. So it would be a 4-step process where you would be fully legally conformed because you would not only have the travel insurance, you would have this confirmation of intent of purchasing long-term insurance. If you do not need application of any sort in order to enter the country, then the process is obviously much more simple. You still need, as we mentioned, it's required by the government to have one of the approved health insurances for long-term stays above 6 months. So if you're in category 2, you would just enter the country visa-free, open up a bank account, and then hop on to Feel Safe and purchase your long-term health insurance. I did want to take just one more second, or Richard, you could do that if you load on a separate screen our website. I just wanted to show people the 3 different products as boxes on the page. I think it's useful to be as hands-on as possible for all of our users, just so you guys can put like a little product box behind what we were talking about. But those would be the 3 options depending on the legal requirements that you're trying to fulfill, whether you're just coming for, so to say, a short visit or some sort of an exchange program, less than 3 months, or an entire semester up to 6 months, or if you're coming to Austria to do your entire study where you do absolutely need to have one of the approved health insurances. What do you think, Richard? Do you want to show them?
I will try to do that right
page.
now. I guess I have to disable the screen and re-enable it to do this.
Oh, okay. Well, I have it loaded. I can just kind of, oh, I see. I don't know how that works. You're on it, right?
So now it should show. Does it work?
Yes.
Also something, as we see, which was, of course, the topic number 1 in the last couple of weeks, is the coronavirus situation. So also that is something very important. Yes, students are also covered for coronavirus without they have any medically necessary treatments or medicine that is prescribed to them, or if whatever will still come out of the situation, our students are fully covered. Corona. This is also something that differentiates us from other providers that we've unfortunately had some stories from students lately where their providers told them that as this is a pandemic, it is actually excluded from their coverage and they're not covered. Again, such fine prints and some details, as Gigana said before, that students wouldn't think of, and it's like, how likely is that, right? Like 4 weeks ago, who would have thought that something like this can happen? So they don't know exactly their contracts, and now it's just suddenly they're like, oh, whoops, I didn't know about that. So that's something that is very important that we want to stress out. That's why we also have this pop-up on our main page, so that students know that with us they're fully covered.
Yeah, so if we click that away, at the very front of the page, those are the 3 products that I wanted to refer you to. The travel insurance, which is purchased you can purchase it from an exact date to an exact date. So it's calculated on a daily price. Then the basic student health insurance, basic and plus, which are the long-term insurances, which come on a monthly basis. You do need a European bank account for it. And you do need to cancel it at the end. It doesn't just expire. So those are a little bit more, less convenience versus more coverage and benefits. So that's the trade-off we were talking about. In the travel insurance further, we don't need to do that right now. If you click, you would have the basic and the plus as well, which I talked about in the last slide. And for any professors or other academics, oh, you lost internet. There was the purple box, which was for the older and different status individuals. There we go. The purple product for academics. So yeah, Richard, do you want to go back to the presentation? It's not a topic of this presentation,
but pretty much whenever there's anything else you need covering the whole topic insurance, we can also help you with that. So we have the household and liability or individual quote for anything else you might need for the family, for accidents or whatever. So we also cover all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I will go back to the presentation.
Mm-hmm. This is also a good point. You guys have been listening so carefully. I'm sure there's one or two questions waiting about. Let's click next slide. I believe that is our very last slide. Yes. So thank you so much, guys, for listening. We have tried to make the least modernized industry, which is the insurance industry, as modern, simple, easy, and awesome as we possibly can. So I hope we've done our job great and we've managed to answer all of your questions as far as what is necessary when you're planning to come to Austria to study when it comes to health insurance. But this would be a great time for, we've left at least another 15 minutes for any questions, thoughts, feedback, anything you want to share with us.
And Gorgana, thank you very much. Let's wait a couple of minutes for some questions, if there is any.
Mm-hmm. That would be wonderful. Yes, we're available. And of course, if something comes up to your minds later on when you're more in the process of applying and moving here, as mentioned, we have a live chat. We have all of the means of communication. So don't hesitate at any other given point of time to reach out. But we're here for at least another couple minutes.
Maybe you can write your email address in the chat box so that they can contact you directly.
Mm-hmm. office@feelsafe.at.
I just shared it.
Yeah. Wonderful. Also, when you write to us, you almost 100% of the time you will get an answer within one working day. That's also a commitment we have to all of our clients. On the webpage, you will see that everywhere it says for sure within 3 working days. But in the many years we've been working so far, 100% of our clients have gotten their paperwork and their answers within 1 day. So we're really proud of that.
Oh, look, there are no questions.
No questions. Maybe we can ask some specific questions if you guys are already in the process of acquiring paperwork to study here, or most of you are just getting information. If any of you want to share where along the path you are, and if there's complications based on the coronavirus situation with your studies being delayed. Oh, that's a very good question. Richard, would you like to take that one?
Let me read your page up. It's a very good question because typically private health insurances, you would always have to prepay the doctor and then claim the money back to get a refund. However, also something that we're actually very proud of. we started a pilot project some 2 years ago with Unica, because we knew that this is one of the issues that students have, that they prepay and they are often short in money. So we actually started a network of direct paying doctors. So selected doctors that speak English, that we know are good, that we took into this network where students don't have to prepay, and the doctors are directly billing the health insurance. And this pilot is actually so successful that Unica now implemented it internally for all of their it's so-called LARA network. So it's a network of more than, I think, 300 doctors already, and they're constantly enlarging it. And they also added pharmacies and labs. So they have now a health network to choose from, where you can go and where you don't have to prepay anything. So you just show them your private insurance card and this LARA card that you get, and then you don't have to prepay anything. On the other side, if it happens that you want to go to a doctor that is not part of the network, there is also a workaround that we shared with students. What they can do is ask the doctor then go to our homepage, upload the bill on our homepage. That is also something that is super simple. There's a button, you just fill a super short form and upload the bill. It works wonderfully also with the phone, so you can directly open your camera roll and upload the picture and send it over. Then the refunds usually take 2 to 3 weeks. And what you can do is actually send in the bill, wait for the refund 2 to 3 weeks, and then pay the doctor with the bill that you got. So you're actually not having to pay, but you're working around. Or you just go the very traditional way, so you just pay on the spot, you send us the bill, and in 2-3 weeks you get the money back.
Yeah, so we're really excited to have started and been very successful with this LARA network. Most of our clients use it at this point. We have made sure to pick many different languages, specialists. I mean, it is now in all of Unica's network, so it's just enlarging by the day. And like Richard said, there's also pharmacies and laboratories and pretty much everything in there. So we've had amazing success and feedback in solving another issue that our students had in the past.
Also, maybe one thing that is indirectly connected, there's also no deductible. That is also something important. That is also, small lines in the contracts that some people don't see. So with our insurance, also, you don't have a deductible for the things, for the treatments. So you get 100% of the doctor treatment medicines that were medically prescribed refunded.
And one more thing that I want to mention, in either case, if there's an actual bigger occasion, you're not just going to the regular doctor to check your throat or your knee, any hospital or something like this is anyways directly, in all cases, booked to the insurance company. So for bigger bills, it doesn't even come into
Whenever
question.
you stay overnight at a hospital, it is directly booked to the insurance, so you don't have to prepay that at all.
Very good question. Keep them coming.
So looks like no more questions.
Yeah, like we said, if you guys have more questions later on, reach out. Don't hesitate. We're available. And even in these times, we've enlarged our live chat and service people. So even with the enlarged amount of people wanting to be insured, we're still answering everything and fulfilling paperwork within one working day.
Wonderful. Then I guess if there are no more questions, we would finish the session here. As Girgana said, we're super available. So feel free to reach out whenever you need us. And other than that, maybe words, we're excited. We hope that a lot of new students will come to Austria. It's a fantastic place to study. We know that you will love it here. So it's a wonderful place. So yeah, we hope to see a lot of you coming to Austria.
Yeah.
There is another question here.
Question.
Does your insurance protect for coronavirus? Yes. So as we said, you see this pop up right on our landing page. Our students are fully covered for coronavirus. Yes.
There are no hidden footprints or notes. They're fully covered. You will probably see the little pop-up when you go to feelsafe.at. That kind of gives you all that information right away. Hamza.
Okay, I think there is no more questions. Thank you very much, Richard and Gorgana, for your participation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for giving us an opportunity to connect with everyone. We're looking forward to next time.
Yeah, we will definitely get in touch with you for more. Have a great day and stay safe.
And thank you everyone for listening. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.